Okay, so this week we're going to cover tracking and stabilization, motion tracking and stabilization. Um, this is kind of technical, but sort of fun also. It's where we get a hold of points or things in moving footage and uh, attach effects and other things to that. So it lets us kind of make things in After Effects work with just imagery in the footage in an interesting way. Most of what we'll be doing here is motion tracking, but image stabilization is a related technology. So I included that in this also, and we'll do that first, actually, kind of get that out of the way. There's a zip file that has all the source footage in it, so you want to download that, unzip it. And there's also a Word document that just has all the steps I'm going through if you like to look at that in addition to or instead of the video or as a reference or whatever. All right, so let's get started here with some image stabilization. So I'm going to go File. Oh, first of all, we want to be able to see the right palettes over here. So let's go Window, and we could just choose from here, but I think the easiest thing is Window, Workspace, Motion Tracking. Okay, and this stuff will we see the tracker palette, and that will become available once we have an actual project open. All right, File, Import File. Okay, and let's do police footage.mov first. Okay, import that, and we'll just drag it right down into our layers area to make a video that's the same dimensions and length, right, as the imported file. Okay, and if you play it, that should make it slightly paranoid. But you know, it's a police car following and the police motorcycle, but the footage is very bouncy, right? So we want to stabilize that. So first of all, and this is critical in all of these, make sure you're at home. Okay, this won't work if you try to do any of it from the start there, or from not at the start position. Okay, so now you'll see up in the tracker that we have some options there, and stabilize motion is what we want here. Okay, now you see that we've opened sort of the footage in a new tab up on the top here. Okay, that's cool. And so now I'm just scrolled in with my mouse wheel. There's this outer part is the search field. Okay, that's where it looks for the track point. That's where After Effects looks for the point you're attaching to. Okay. So all right, so I'm gonna, and be careful how you do this. It's easier if you zoom in like this. Okay, but you put your cursor between the anchor point or track point and the search area in the middle there, and you can move it around. Okay, if you put it on the edges, it will scale it. You don't really want to scale the middle one, so let's put it so that little point is right on the top right corner of the license plate. Okay, not off it this way, not off it this way. Ideally, right on the edge. All right. Now, so the search field is where, as it analyzes the footage, where it looks for this point. Okay, and if you make it too big, it's going to take longer, and it's also going to be inaccurate because it's going to find similar like combination of pixels that you have here to maybe it might find it somewhere else, and it'll just go haywire. And if it's too small, the footage, you know, this footage bounces a lot, right? And if this point bounces outside of the search field, it's not going to work. It'll just fail, right? So, and then you have to delete the tracker and try it again. So I'm going to make this about like that. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that will work. All right. So now, again, making sure we're at home, right? There's a thing that looks like a kind of like, VCR or whatever you call it, play, rewind type thing. So you hit the analyze forward button. It looks just like a play arrow, okay? And it'll go through your footage and you watch that thing and make sure that it sticks onto the license plate. Okay, if it doesn't, if it just goes, if it doesn't do that, oops, sorry, what did I do? All right, if it doesn't do that, just delete it, start over. Okay, but it did do it. All right, and now let's hit apply. Okay, that's all you got to do. Do we want to apply in X and Y? We'll say okay, and now you just play it. Okay, and it's pretty cool, right? So like what it did was it took that one point, instead of the whole footage bouncing around, it pinned down that one point on the license plate, and the rim of the file, or the whole file, bounces. And instead of the camera and the image bouncing around, the whole picture does, to keep that in one spot. It's very interesting technology. Okay, kind of clever. So the limitation to it, though, is that you can see the edge of the frame. So this really only works if there's a lot of extra space around the footage, because we have to blow it up. Okay. So so first of all, let's scale it up. Okay. So I'm going to my footage. I'll hit S for scale, and I think I did like 138% or something like that. Quite a lot. All right, works pretty good. It shows a little bit at one point. Okay, let me just move my cursor to that spot. All right, so I can just move the whole piece of footage down. Yeah. Okay. Pretty cool. All right, let's do another example. So just to get everything cleared out, I'm going to go File, New Project. And let's try a similar but slightly different one. So go File, Import, File, and let's do la.mov. Okay, and same thing, drag it around down to your timeline, and let's see what this is all about. Okay, somewhere in downtown LA, at the Gap. And now here, so you can see the footage is moving a little bit, but if you look carefully, the camera is also rotating slightly. Okay, so we have to fix that whole thing. So I'm going to Home, and let's stabilize motion again. But this time, you see, I mean, I assume that this position, hopefully on yours, just position by default is turned on. If not, so in this case, we want to turn on rotation also. So what happens here is we get two trackers, right? And we just put them in two positions that are kind of far apart, and it judges the differences between them. So let's put one of them down on the inside of this G of the gap here, right there, right on the edge. Okay, make that a hair bigger, but it doesn't move that much, I don't think. And this one, I'm going to put it on the end of one of these pipes or whatever that are sticking out from up here, whatever that is, a sign or something. So you want to have them kind of like far apart if possible, but when there's rotation, I think it's also better if they're in the Z of the footage, right, or depth. I don't think it works. I usually try to make it on two things that are kind of like similar distance away from the camera. Like if you put it way off in the distance, I don't know. I don't actually know if that's correct or not. It's kind of like how I do it, but now that I think about it, it doesn't exactly make sense because the camera is just a single plane that's turning, and it really shouldn't matter if things are farther away or not. Okay. Anyway, these are two good points, and they're far enough away. Okay. So making sure we're at home, let's analyze forward. Okay. And if it looked like it worked, let's apply. X and Y, sure thing. All right, so that's cool. You can see it makes all this tons of stuff. I'm just going to hit U to close it up. And let's hit S for scale. And how about 115% or something like that? Yeah. So that's image stabilization. Next, we'll look at motion tracking.